Welcome to mt4gadgets.com. This is a new lesson, and in this video we are going to talk about MQL functions. What are functions? What type of functions there are, how to use them, what are the benefits of using functions, and also some examples. First, we'll start with some theory. A good start is with the definition. What is a function? A function is a self-contained block of code that performs a specific task. Instead of writing the same code multiple times, you can define a function once and call it whenever needed. This saves time and reduces the chances of errors. So again, what to understand is a function is just a block of code that has a specific outcome. And we'll see in the benefits why that is very important and useful. In terms of benefits, using functions gives you advantages in terms of reusability, because you can write a function once with a goal, and every time you want to get that goal done, you call the function instead of writing the full block of code, which could be multiple lines. Second is readability. Using functions keeps your code cleaner and more readable, because you know that maybe you've got the main flow or the main stream of actions, but using functions instead of full blocks of code may make the code more readable. Maintainability is also an advantage or a benefit, because it's easier to maintain your code. It comes with the reusability as well, because you are writing less lines of code, and all of the lines related to a specific goal are in a function. You can maintain it easily with a more targeted approach. Abstraction is maybe a bit more tricky to understand, but it's because with the use of functions, you can achieve some of the goals without having the explicit code maybe there visible in that specific part of code. Modularity is last, but also very important and kind of related to reusability. Modularity allows you, through function, of creating modules or building blocks for your program, and having the functions doing specific actions in a more modular way, so you can kind of plug and play different outcomes or actions depending on when and where they are needed. Best practices of and when to use functions. You should keep functions focused, so not have functions that do many actions, rather have multiple individual functions that do specific targeted actions. Always use meaningful names, because it helps with reading code and have an understanding of what that function does. Avoid global variables. It's as we will see in the examples, functions can have parameters, and it's always better to pass input to functions through parameters instead of using global variables. Comment your code. That's not only for functions, it's for code in general, but especially for functions. Comment the function to have more clarity about what it does. And lastly, also handle errors. So make sure that you have mitigation or error handling actions in place so that if you are passing wrong input to a function, that is handled. If the function is doing something that is not expected, you can handle the errors. Now that we know the definition of functions, the benefits, and the best practices, let's jump into MetaEditor for some examples. Here we are in MetaEditor 5, so that's the software coming with the MetaTrader 5, where we can build our code. And let's see some example of functions. First of all, let's put a quick comment about examples of functions. The first distinction in functions, there are two main types. One is built-in functions, which are all the functions that are coming directly with the MetaTrader. So they are native out of the box, coming as part of MQL5. And then you have user-defined functions, which are functions that you can create for your own actions. As an example, on start, this would be a function, built-in function in MQL5. And that's how scripts do. So this is a blank script. If we want to create our own user function, we can create a simple function, for example, to calculate the spread. And how do you create a function? Function need to have a data type. So if they are returning a value, you need to define what data type the value is going to be. In this case, if we are returning a spread, we want to use a data type of double type, and then calculate or get spread, and with the parentheses empty, it means that we are not giving any parameters in there. And here we can calculate what is the spread and then return it. So in this case, we can say the bid equals symbol info double, current symbol, symbol bid. And same with the ask, equals symbol info double, current symbol, symbol ask. So we have two variables of double type. One is the bid with the current bid price for the current symbol, and we have an ask with the current ask price for the current symbol. And if we want to have the spread is simply the ask minus the bid. And we return the value of the spread, type in return spread. Following best practices, we should comment with this function with this function returns the current spread value. And in case we wanted to print the spread, or when we want to get the value of the spread, we can simply use double spread equals get spread. So in this case, we are declaring a variable of double type, variable spread, and we are assigning to the variable spread the value returned by the get spread function. And then we can print the value, print the current spread is, and we can use the function double to string to convert the double variable spread to a string instead, and the right format. If we compile it, the compilation is correct, and we can try to run it. Functions, we are in the EURUSD, and the current spread is 0.00010, which is very simple. This was a very simple function with no input parameters and returning a value. We can see a function with some input parameters. For example, we can say function double, where we calculate the stop loss, for example, for a buy order. So we have get stop loss, and this time we need to provide two input. One is the open price, so double open price, and another one is double the stop loss distance. So say if we want to provide 500 point distance, we can calculate what is the get stop loss price, we can call it for clarity. And here you can see best practices again. They come in, use clear naming so that to have an idea what the function does. And this function returns the stop loss price given the open price and the stop loss distance. So if we want to use this function and get the stop loss, we will need to define what is the stop loss distance. So double stop loss distance equals, for example, 0.05. And if we haven't calculated the stop loss, and then we can use double stop loss price equals get stop loss price. We need the open price, so to define the open price we just can grab or we can define open price there. It's 1.056. We're just doing an example, so we are setting values deliberately. In case you were running this, usually you would have real values coming maybe from some indicators or from previous close or some sort of real values. This is just an example, so we'll just stick to random values. Open price and stop loss distance. But we haven't filled the function, so the function is not doing anything at the moment. How do you calculate the stop loss? You would have a double stop loss price equals open price minus stop loss distance. And we are assuming this is a long order or buy order, and then we return the stop loss price. And then we can print the value of stop loss price. The calculated stop loss price is, again, double to string, stop loss price 5. If we compile it, there's no errors, and if we mount the function in chart, we would have calculated stop loss is basically the calculation of the stop loss price. So to review a function with inputs, you need to again define a function with the type of data that is going to return, give it a meaningful name, define the list of input that you are going to provide to the function, perform the calculation or the actions that you want the function to complete, and then return the value. And to use the function, you need to call it and pass the input in the parentheses. Very simple so far. Last one is we want to see an example of a function that doesn't return a value. So in this example, we're going to use this function, or what can we do? We can do a simple alert, for example. So alert price. It doesn't need any parameters in this case, and this function performs an alert pop-up with the current bid. Just an example to show how a function of this type would work. Alert price is just a pop-up. It doesn't need to return anything. So when a function doesn't need to return anything, you declare it of a void type. That will tell the software or the language that do not expect any return from this function here. The action that we're going to perform is double current bid, and we give symbol info double. Symbol info double is an example of built-in function that returns the value that you are requesting, and as parameters, as symbol is also a built-in function that returns the current symbol on chart, in the chart where you map or mount the script. And what are we looking for? Symbol bid. And this is another parameter to tell the function symbol info double that we are looking for the symbol bid for the current symbol. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to pop up an alert through the alert built-in function. Say the current bid is double to string again. Double to string is also a built-in function. Current bid And when we start, we say an alert price. If we compile, there is an error here, which is a typo, just semicolon. Okay, compilation was successful. So what this simple code does is, at the start, when the script is mounted, call alert price. Doesn't have to return anything, and alert price will get the current bid value and pop up an alert message with the message the current bid is and the value of current bid. Let's see how it works in the software. And we have an alert for function, and the current bid is 0.07. As you see, the definition of function may be a bit complex, or even the concept might be a bit difficult to understand for new programmers. However, when you see some code, it's not that difficult. It's something that has a lot of benefits in using. You will definitely use in your programs, and you need to understand if you're looking at someone else's program as well. So in this video, we covered the definition of function, the difference between built-in functions and user functions, what are the benefits, and what are some of the best practices to use functions in MQL5 language. Hopefully this video was useful and you learned something. If you haven't already, come and check us out at mt4gadgets.com, and I hope to see you soon.